Welcome back to my channel, Miss Personal Finance, where we are budgeting our way to financial freedom. In today's video, we'll be going over the monthly budget for September. I can't believe we're already this far along into the year, but here we are. And for those of you who budget starting on a Sunday, this will be a 5-week month, and that just means there's going to be an additional week of expenses. So you want to ensure that you account for that ahead of time. That's why it's so important to do your budget before you receive your funds so that you're aware of things that may happen, such as a 5-week month, and any other activities or events that may affect your budget. So we will go ahead and get started. As you know, we are 1 month ahead. That just means we have already saved up a month's worth of expenses in our savings account. And at the beginning of the month, we just transfer it over to account for all of the bills and expenses for that month. To be honest, guys, due to inflation and other expenses, we have had to increase our monthly budget from about $5,000 a month to $5,300 a month. So we'll go ahead and do this. We anticipate our household income to be $5,300, and that source is just our savings, but it's really just 1 month. Ahead. How do I write that? All right, guys, that threw me off a little, so I'm just going to do 1 month ahead. I'm going to need to abbreviate that. Okay, so $5,300. We do have additional income in the form of rental income, side hustles, but we never budget for that. We simply use what we know we already have in the bank and can account for. But at the end of the month, when I do our budget closeouts, I'll be able to account for any additional inflow that has come in for the month. But for right now, we're going to budget only for the $5,300. Okay, so we'll start off with our fixed expenses. And I know savings and investments, these are not fixed expenses, but in our household, it is. It is so important to pay yourself first. I promise your future self will thank you for it. And whether you start small and it is just a few dollars a month and you're working your way up, as you work your way out of debt, it's super important. And for us right now, we can only budget about $200 for investments. We hope to be able to increase that once we have eliminated our debt. Okay, and for our mortgage, and this includes all of the fees associated with it, so that's going to be $15.95. Internet, the price keeps going up. Right now we're at about $85 a month. Sling, because we don't have cable, this is just a streaming service. All right, so childcare, that's at $900. So because we are self-employed, we do pay our medical and dental separately. Hopefully that will change soon, but for now, that's where we are. Subscriptions, we don't really have a lot. We only have 2 that equal about $10 a month. For utilities, this is lights and water. So electricity and water, and we pay the same exact amount every single month because I have been able to take an average of our yearly expenses, and it averages out to about $270 a month. And for some months it'll be higher, for some months it'll be lower, but it actually evens out at the end of the year. Some companies call this budget billing, and I just do it for ourselves. We don't do it through the company. We just use our checking account to send that same amount each month, and it has been working out great for us. It also helps stabilize our budget so we know what to anticipate every single month. All right, and that should be it for our fixed expenses. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and total that up. We're at 200 plus 1595. Okay, so we're at 3503 for our fixed expenses. And now let's move over to our variable expenses. Now for sinking funds, I'm going to leave that blank. I always do that last after we go through what our variable expenses are going to be. And this is a good time to take a look at the month to see if there's anything coming up. In our case, we have a milestone birthday, so we want to account for that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use it just from our household or miscellaneous funds, or if I'm going to have a separate line item. But for now, let's go with our standard. I recently combined food and household items because most of the places we go or we shop include both. So if we're going to Costco or Target, even Walmart, you're finding your groceries and your household items in the same place. So I found it easier to just budget that together, and that has been working out great. I have an Ally savings and checking account, and both of them allow you to use separate buckets, and you're able to separate it within the account. So that has been also helpful for us as well to keep track. So for household, we're budgeting 800, and for gas, 200 a month. Miscellaneous, 200. Now, I've already mentioned that this is going to be a 5-week month for us. So ideally, these amounts should increase. However, I am on a financial fast where I am trying to decrease expenses anywhere I can. So for household, what I do is on the months that we have an additional week, I try to shop our pantry. For these months that occur a couple times throughout the year is a great time for you to shop your pantry, go on a financial fast, and try to use what you already have. So we're going to attempt to do that in the month of September and see how that goes. But I wouldn't be surprised if the actual amount is is slightly higher than the budgeted amount, but we're going to try. For gas, I usually over budget for that anyway. So the same thing, going to try to be more conservative with the gas and miscellaneous, trying to stretch our dollar for that additional week. We'll see how it goes for this month. And then moving forward, we'll know if we're able to sustain that on those one-off months or if it is truly a situation where we do need to increase our budget for that month. But I'm up for the challenge and I'm excited to see how we do with that. For birthday, I'm going to actually budget 100. If we need any additional funds, we'll try to use it. Well, typically we would use it from the household or miscellaneous, but with this already being a tighter month, I just want to go ahead and at least have a line item there to account for some of the costs. And I'm trying to think of anything else that might occur in this month. Hopefully it's just a low-key month financially and we're able to stay on track. And I'm not going to total this up right now until we do everything else. All right, now for debt, this is a little tricky because we have both a household budget and a business budget. And for our household budget, the only debt we have currently is student loan debt, and that is on a pause. I think our servicer is having some issues, so they have paused it. So we actually have not had a true minimum payment for the last couple of months, but I want to at least give something towards it. So I'm going to budget 100, but typically this amount is about $500 a month. Okay, so with that total, we're only going to budget $100 for this month and see how that goes. We're starting with $5,300. Our fixed expenses equal $3,503, leaving us with $1,797. And then our student loan payment. And this is easy math, so I'm going to do, that's 1,300 minus 1,300. And that leaves us with $397 that we can put towards our sinking funds. And our sinking funds take care of the bill that we pay annually. For us, that's going to be like our annual subscriptions, our car insurance that we pay every 6 months, and even our phone bill. We only pay that once a year because we're with Mint Mobile. So those funds are distributed between our different buckets in our savings accounts so that when those bills come due, we have the funds there in a high yield savings account that's earning interest until we're ready to take it out to pay that bill. So that will bring this section to $397 plus $800 plus 200 plus 100, and that equals $1,697. All right, so if we go to our total balance up here, our fixed expenses at $3,503, our variable expenses at $1,697, and our debt at $100. Okay, $1,697 is already there. And this is just double checking the math to see that every dollar is accounted for. And that's where we landed, $5,300 budgeted for the month of September. This is going to be tricky because we know this is a 5-week month for us, but we're going to try to shop our pantry. We're going to try to stretch our funds for our miscellaneous and gas and see how that goes. Wish me luck. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, whatever you put your energy and focus toward, you're bound to see progress.